Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny channel. I'm Frugal Granny and my name's Ali. I'm a 64 and 3/4 year old semi-retiree trying to make the most of what I've got between now and getting my state pension in July 2027. Today's Monday and it's Monday Magazine, a sort of collection and roundup of my week, the things I've been doing to live simply and frugally. If you're new here, you're really welcome and I do hope that you'll stick around. And if you're a returning viewer, it's lovely to see you again. Could I just ask, actually, if you do watch me regularly and you're not subscribed, if you would consider doing that, that would really help me out. Now, I'm going to start off today by cutting up some red peppers that I bought at the supermarket. They're on loyalty card offer at the moment, so they're down from about 69p to 45p, and 45p is pre-cost of living prices, and then of course I get my 10% staff discount because I actually work at that supermarket. So I'm going to cut those up for the freezer today, and in the process I'm going to weigh them and see how many red peppers it takes to make 500 grams. And then I can compare prices with 500 grams of cut frozen mixed peppers and see if I'm actually getting any value for money. Right, so let's get on with cutting up these peppers. So when I cut up peppers, as I've said before, I'm not an expert with fruit and veg preparation, but I just tend to cut the top off and then cut down the sides so that the pith is left behind. And then I've got the pith like that, which I shall just put in my compost bin. And then I've got the top, the stalk goes in the bin. And then I can just cut them into slices. And then I'm going to cut them into a sort of a large dice, a bit like that. That will be fine. Okay, so one red pepper's coming in at about 100 grams. So I think on the look of it, fresh peppers are going to cost more per 500 grams than frozen ones. But I'm just going to stop this now and put you on time lapse, and we'll come back to this in a bit. Okay, as you can see, I've done 4 peppers now. There's 4 cores there, and I've not put all of the 4th pepper in, but we're on about 500 grams. So I would say 500 grams of diced red pepper is about 3 1/3 peppers. So we'll do the maths on that at the end and see how it comes out. Ten red peppers has turned into 1.5 kilograms of chopped red peppers, and I will do the maths on that with you later. But right now I'm going to pop those in the freezer, and I'm going to take out some of my old frozen red peppers so that I rotate, that's the word, rotate my food, and I'm going to make some lentil and red pepper soup. I'm going to make the lentil and red pepper soup now, and I've gathered my ingredients together and I'll just go through what I've got. I've got some frozen red peppers from the freezer that need using up, a little bit of chopped carrot and celery, some melted homemade butter that I've saved from something else, an onion that needs peeling and dicing, some homemade chicken stock from the freezer, and just over 50 grams of red lentils from my pantry. I'm going to put the butter into my casserole. Not too much, just a little bit, and then dice the onion. This very much is what I would call bung it cookery. You just bung in what you've got. If you don't have chicken stock or you can't eat chicken stock, then you can just use water and a vegetable stock cube. The carrot and the celery gives some added depth of flavour. But again, if you don't like celery or you're allergic to celery and you can't eat carrot or you don't have these things, you don't need to use them. Basically, you could just do this with red peppers, lentils, onion flakes even, and water. So I'm just putting the onions in there. I'm going to let them soften, and I've just realised I have forgotten chopped tomatoes. I have a few chopped tomatoes from another recipe hiding in the back of the fridge, so we'll use those up. And if we need any more tomato flavour, we'll probably put a bit of puree in. So I'm just going to melt that butter and soften the onions. I tend to keep it stirring so that the onions don't stick to the bottom. Once the onions are translucent, I can then start putting the other ingredients in. This is chopped carrot and celery that I've prepared before. There's a little bit of chopped onion in here, but it won't matter. I'm just going to put one handful, maybe a little bit more, just to add depth of flavour. It's not essential. If you haven't got it, it doesn't matter. Then I'm going to tip in the chopped tomatoes that I've been saving from a dish I made the other day. And then I'm going to put in these red peppers. Okay, they're a little bit freezer burned, but it's only water. It will melt down and evaporate off. And I shall wash the bag out and use it for something else. Now this is the interesting bit, is trying to get the frozen stock out of the bag. I'm just going to run this under a hot tap. 1 minute. Well, I may end up having to sacrifice a bag. Okay, I've got the stock out of the bag eventually, and that's just going in there. Obviously, if you're a little bit more forward thinking than I am at the moment, you could have defrosted that ahead of time, but I'm just going to let that defrost in the soup. And then I'm going to add the lentils. A little bit of pepper. Some salt. Obviously you can adjust the salt later if necessary. I just keep the salt down really, I try to. And then maybe a little pinch of chilli just to give it a bit of a kick. And then I'm just going to stand here and think my thoughts while the stock melts. And then I shall leave that to simmer until the peppers are soft and the lentils are cooked, which is probably going to be about 20 minutes to half an hour. And at that point we will use the stick blender to smooth it all up. The lentils have all cooked down till they're soft now, and you can see that quite a lot of the stock has evaporated. So I'm actually going to put a little bit more water in that before I blend it. And I'm then also going to use up a little bit of natural yogurt that I found lurking in the fridge. You need to be very careful when you're homogenising hot soup. Ideally, you really ought to let it go cold. You don't want hot soup splashing on you. Anyway, I'm just adding a little bit of yogurt to use that up. Finding one of my trusty spatulas here. Let's get that scraped out. That's all done now. I think I just want that to be a little bit deeper in colour, so I'm going to put a tad of tomato puree in there. Really, I should have used a whole can of chopped tomatoes in this recipe, but I didn't. I wanted to use up the bits that were in the fridge. That's better. I think I can live with that. Just stir it in nicely. Looks like it could do with a little bit more blending, but I'll do that off camera because I don't want you to have to listen to that again. But anyway, there we are. That would be nice, served in a bowl with maybe a little bit more yogurt stirred onto the top and some chopped coriander or chopped parsley. Very nice autumn soup. Okay, let's see if those red peppers were worth it. Right, so 10 red peppers at 45p each is £4.50. If I include my staff discount, that comes down to £4.05. Those 10 red peppers turned into 1.5 kilograms of chopped peppers. So 1.5 kilograms of chopped peppers cost me £4.05, which means that per kilogram they were £2.70 per kilogram. Okay, chopped red peppers have come in at £2.70 per kilogram. Now, if you look at the website, frozen mixed peppers, that's red, yellow and green, ready frozen chopped mixed peppers are 99p a kilogram. So in actual fact, the frozen mixed peppers are cheaper than chopping your own. But I just wanted red peppers. I did not want mixed peppers. So that's why I did it that way. And if you look at the economy fresh peppers, the Nightingale peppers, they come in at £2.67 per kilogram whole. But if you core and dice those, that's going to bump the price up. I actually think my chopped red peppers were good value for money, because I wanted just red peppers. I didn't want green or yellow in there as well. But if you want just peppers and you don't care what colour they are, just buy your frozen mixed peppers at 99p a kilogram. Okay, there we go. It's Saturday morning, we've had a cold night and there's condensation on my bay windows, so I just wanted to show you my Karcher window vac that I use. I don't have double glazing on my bay windows, so there's a lot of condensation, and this vacuum cleaner really helps. Now, I'm not sponsored by Karcher, but I just wanted to show you how this works. It stops the water gathering along the woodwork at the bottom of the frames and causing rot. I've had it for a few years now and I really couldn't be without it. Look how much I've got of that window. Hello, it's Monday morning. It's the first really cold morning of the autumn, so I've lit the stove in what I call the pug snug in the back room. Kitty is trying to get into the armchair, which is her favourite place. Bella is just a bit confused because she's not seen this scenario before, and I'm just going to try and do a little bit for the Monday magazine here. Settle down there. You can't go in there. You can't go in there. You can go in there. Right, so I've put Kitty in her favourite place. She and Pie, my late fawn pug, used to snuggle up together there. It's a lovely place for them to sit. Just swivel you round. There's the wood stove, and I've put Bella in the other chair. That's where I normally sit. Okay, I was hoping to get the wood stove in shot, but it's not going to work with the logistics of the sunlight coming through the back windows. And you can see, as usual, I've got the washing machine going in the background. And so there's going to be pug snortles and washing machine noises as usual, for which I do apologise. Rather than put another cooking segment into this Monday magazine, I thought that I'd just quickly talk about how I organise and keep track of my freezers, because that's come up a couple of times in the comments since I did my freezer tour of my smallest freezer on Saturday. Come on then, everybody loves to see you anyway, don't they? So you want a little quick hug? Do you want a little quick hug? Yeah, you're biting Mummy's nose. Don't worry, it's a sign of affection. She does it all the time, don't you? Eh? Yes. Yes, you do. I think you just need to go down there and just let me do this. And then we'll have a cup of coffee and a proper hug in a minute. What was I talking about? The non-exact science of... Oh, she wants to go on the chair now, excuse me. I think we're going to have wars. We're going to have wars. Bella's jumped up there with Kitty, who's not looking very happy. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I need to get on with this tour. Right, the non-exact science of me keeping track of my freezers basically at the moment resolves around this little red notebook that one of my former colleagues gave me. It came from a scientific conference. It's got the conference logos and things on the front, and basically I don't keep a spreadsheet of how much I've got stashed away, and I don't log everything I put in, and I don't log everything I get out. To be honest with you, I think if I had my family at home still, all of them, I probably would be a little bit more meticulous, because I would need to know what I'd got coming in and going out. Oh my goodness, I hope this washing machine isn't going to be too much. I wonder if I can turn it off for a minute. Spinning, because it's just going into its really noisy bit now, and honestly I don't think I can compete with it. Right, the washing machine's finished now, so just want to quickly talk to you about how I manage my freezers. I don't have a big spreadsheet for it. I used to, but I failed miserably trying to keep that up to date. So essentially I just keep everything in this rather scrappy hardback notebook, and about once every 1 or 2 months I go through all of my freezers and I write down what I've got in them. For example, there is one freezer you've not seen yet, which is actually opposite me in the pug snug. So that one's got 6 drawers in it, and basically in my notebook I have a page for what's in every drawer. So in drawer 1, this list is actually saying I've got, it's completely wrong, 6 Yorkshire puddings, a cranberry and raisin loaf, 1 mini naan, a bag of suet, 4 bags of mushrooms, some pizza pepperoni and some butter, some baking block lard, hummus and mozzarella. Well, I can tell you right now that most of that stuff is not in there. So this list is better than useless. So effectively, because I'm going in and out of my freezers all the time, I am sort of visually monitoring them, and I know that in that drawer the Yorkshire puddings aren't there, the loaf isn't there, the naans aren't there, the suet got used for the mincemeat, the mushrooms might be there, the pizza pepperoni is half used. I took one of the packs of butter out the other day, so all I can guarantee that's in there probably is the baking block, some lard and a few packets of mozzarella, and anything else that I've put in there since I wrote this list. So then on page 2, I've got a list for drawer 2, and you can see, I know this is all back to front, that, you know, sometimes I do actually cross things off when I take them out of the freezer. So drawer 2 says there's a bag of sofrito, which I think you will have seen in this video when I made the red pepper and lentil soup. I've got some chorizo, 3 packets of cooking bacon, which, yes, I will admit have been in there rather longer than I would like, the cooking bacon has. But I will be making a point of getting that out now the autumn months are here. And we'll be making things like ham and leek bake and a lot more carbonara. And it will possibly be being chopped into leek and potato soup. So I know those packets of bacon are in there and they are going to get used. Basically, this is what I do. I will go into my freezer, I will audit it, and I'll make a list, and then as I take things out I will cross them off. But I'm not really so good at writing down things that go in, but they get caught when I do my monthly audits. Yeah, so that's the list I wrote for the little freezer on Saturday. That's the list I wrote for the medium freezer a couple of weeks ago. I've crossed a few things off since then. But I also, once I've made the list, will sit down and, especially if there's quite a lot of protein in one of the freezers, I will sort of do a review of how many meals are in that freezer. And that medium freezer I've got written down here has 27 meals in it. Mainly due to the bulk freezing of chicken that's in there, and what else is in there? The salmon, chicken and bacon, that's right, and a few chorizo sausages. Yeah, so the only one I've really got to go through now, I'm not going to take you through the freezer in front of me with the drawers, not just yet anyway, but the one I've really got to do is the big freezer, and I'm looking at the list here and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, really, there's stuff in there. I can see on this list that there's some wedges of Stilton in there that I put in at Christmas time last year. So I really do need to make an effort to make some Stilton and broccoli soup and get that eaten up as well, because I really don't want to be eating things in that freezer at Christmas next year when I put them in at Christmas last year. Yeah, so in answer to that question, as well, how long do I keep things in the freezer? Sometimes things do get forgotten, and I will be honest, there is some batch cooked spaghetti sauce in them, really in what I call my really big freezer. It's not really big, but it's the biggest of my 3 chest freezers, and that's probably been in there, could have been in there 18 months by now, and I know that I'm just keep leaving it in there because I don't want to eat it, and the longer I leave it in there, the more I don't want to eat it. So yes, those 3 tubs of spaghetti bolognese sauce probably are going to end up getting wasted, but I will defrost them and taste them, well, one at a time anyway, and if I think they're edible, then I will eat them. But according to the books, they've probably been in there a little bit too long. If you want to know how long to keep something in a freezer, please don't take my word for it. You know, do an online search. There are lots and lots of websites and advisories out there about how long you can keep things safely in a freezer before they start to lose their texture, shape and flavour, or before they get freezer burn. In terms of managing my freezers, it's a little bit ad hoc, and I am trying to run down that very little freezer that I defrosted on Saturday, and to be honest with you, already just from going in and defrosting it, it has emptied another 6 inches. Both packets of hot dog buns have come out. One's been consumed over the last couple of days. The lamb mince has been turned into a moussaka that we had last night. I bought an aubergine with my £1 for Saturday, which I chopped up and put in that moussaka. And I cut the hot dog buns in half and grilled them and buttered them, and we had that with the moussaka, and ate up a bit of rocket that was in the salad drawer. And I've got out one of the raisin, cranberry and cashew loaves this morning for my snacks and breakfasts in the next few days. I think the cinnamon swirls, or were they pan au raisin, have also come out. They've gone. I've taken out one of the sourdough loaves. So it has gone down another 6 inches just in the last 48 hours. And that's another good reason to keep auditing your freezers, because you can see what's in there, you know what needs using up, and you can get it out and use it. So no, I don't have a really elaborate system for looking after my freezers. I'm probably as ad hoc and unorganised as the next person, but I do think that going in there and auditing them regularly really does help. And as I said, I keep a list when I do the audits, and I cross things out off as I take them out. But as I said, I'm not very good at writing things down when I put them in. But if I do make a bulk purchase, like of the chicken I've done recently, or the mince, or the red peppers, I do know they're in there, and I know which freezer they're in, and they will get caught in the next audit. And I do know in my head that no, I don't want to be buying salmon, bacon, chicken, mince, or red peppers now until at least well into the new year. So to be honest, there's nothing really I want to put in my freezers now, except the odd thing I might find on the yellow label counter that would do for Christmas. So all I'll be looking out for now are bits and bobs that can make Christmas a little bit more luxurious for my family, and which of my kids and their partners, etc., will be visiting over that time. So anyway, I've got an extra shift this afternoon, so I'm just going to wrap this up now and edit it as quickly as I can, and then take the dogs to the park, and then get back behind my checkout counter. And I'll see you on Thursday for Coffee and Catch Up 20. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. 20, that's 20 weeks. That's nearly, well, it's 5 months, isn't it? I don't know, I can't believe I've been doing that this long. That's incredible. But on Thursday, I will, in response to another viewer question, just recap a little bit about my annuities and describe what sort of annuities they are and how much they are, just for those people who are new. So there'll be a few things to talk about. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy the beginning of your week. I hope the rain holds off. I'll see you on Thursday. Okay, and I'm going to cut to Kitty and Bella.